Closing on a home is an exciting milestone, and if you made it to this point in the process, congratulations. But before the keys are finally handed over, there is still plenty that needs to happen. You should continue to watch this video and I'll explain what happens the week of closing and how to avoid typical delays. So this is how you, as a seller, can prepare for closing day. Once an offer is accepted on the home, you, the seller, will feel like the hard part is done, but not so fast. The real work is just beginning. Here are the 6 very important things you get off your to-do list before closing day. So you're going to want to make sure that everything has been boxed up. Now, you've probably done this even before the house goes on the market, because when you are an executor or an administrator and you're working on a probate, you're going to have gone through all of the personal property of your loved one way before we put the house on the market, or that's what typically happens. You're probably aware, because you've already been through it, that packing up everything is not a whole lot of fun. So we suggest that you get either a buyout company, or if there's a lot of personal property, you have an estate sale help you with that process. Now, when you hire people to help you to do things like box up the personal property, you're gonna wanna have hit the ATM so that you have some money to tip people, because you want people to treat the items nicely, and when there's a little cash that goes into their pocket, they tend to be easier to work with. So tip generously. Okay, now you probably have already gone through the disclosures with your real estate professional, hopefully a certified probate real estate advisor, because when you listed the home, you had all this documentation to take care of and you wanted to get it done way ahead of time. So you're going to want to make sure that your agent got the disclosures back from the buyer, that they're fully signed, we call it fully executed, and they're in the file. That way you're protected and the estate is also protected. I like to call this clean up our karma. So when we put the house on the market, most likely we soft staged it and we had it professionally cleaned, including the windows. If there's been a lot going on with the home, like one property just recently here in La Mesa, California, we had an estate sale happen. So the floors got dirty and people had used the bathroom. So I believe that if the house got dirty during that process, then it's nice to just have me help you by hiring someone to go back in and do the final cleaning so that your buyer has a nice, clean home to move into. We'll want to make sure that the countertops in the kitchen are wiped off, all the appliances are wiped down again, and of course the floors are swept and any dusting that needs done. And let's make sure that the toilets are nice and sparkling clean for your new buyer. If the lawn needs mowed, we make sure that's done also, and that way when your buyer moves in, they're very happy, and it really doesn't cost the estate a tremendous amount of money to provide a nice clean house, and most people want to do that for their buyer. There's going to be a time where you're going to want to cancel the utilities and the trash. What my team does is we have a system in place where we send an email to you, and I also speak with you about it. We're going to let you know that it's time to turn off the utilities, and we also send an email to your buyer's agent letting them know that they should let their client know to take care of getting the gas, electric, and water, and sometimes trash, put into their names as of the date of closing. It's really important to me that the buyers not end up without any water. And one time while I was helping sell a home, that's exactly what happened. Although my team sent an email to the buyer's agent may not have told their client, or the buyer just didn't get around to taking care of it. And when they moved in on Saturday, they didn't have any water for 5 days after closing. We don't want that to happen to your buyer. So we send you an email so that you contact the utility companies and remove the responsibility. You cancel your responsibility, and we send an email to the buyer's agent so they let their buyers know to take on the responsibility. We want to leave a blank canvas. We know selling your loved one's home is a stressful and overwhelming task in many cases, and also takes a little bit of an emotional toll on you. And keep in mind, it's also stressful for the buyer. When you leave the house, we want to leave it completely empty. How empty? Very empty. We want to hear an echo in there. If you want to leave a little gift for the buyer, and some people do, like a scented candle or a bottle of wine, that would be fine to leave that behind. But we don't want to leave any kind of food in the refrigerator or trash in the trash can. We want, when you leave the property for the final time, to take everything with you so that the buyer can come in and make it their home. A few days or maybe even a week prior to the close of escrow, you, the seller, and the buyer will need to sign a variety of legal documents. Your escrow company will be in touch with you. They will have mailed those documents or mostly overnighted those documents to you. And then if you have questions about those documents, please contact your escrow company. I'm always here to help, but they are the experts with those documents. So who pays for what? You'll see on the estimated closing statement that the buyer pays for their closing costs and you, the seller, pay for your closing costs. You will have already received from me an estimated seller proceeds document, so you'll have a good idea of what you're going to be paying for and what you will not be paying for. You'll have an estimate of all the expenses, including the commission. That's how I get paid, and I can then pay my bills and feed my family. And you'll also have an estimate of other taxes that you might need to pay or anything else that's agreed to in the purchase agreement, such as paying for a home warranty for your buyer. A few days before we close escrow, you will receive escrow's estimated seller proceeds document, and we'll look it over carefully together and make sure that there isn't any expense on there that we didn't expect. And then what happens? After all the paperwork is put together and the buyer's funds from themselves, from the buyers, and their lender, if there's a lender involved, all those funds will come to escrow, and then we'll get ready to do what we call closing the escrow. How that happens is escrow and title send over all the documentation to be recorded at the county recorder's office. Once that happens, we'll be notified. They'll send me an email and I will call you and let you know that you're no longer responsible for your loved one's home. This is when the keys are handed over to your buyer. If you're finding this of value, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so that the algorithm will know to share this with others just like you, going through the process of being responsible for a loved one's home. Closing on a house seems like a considerable undertaking, but if you know what to expect, you can avoid roadblocks and common pitfalls. The secret is to be prepared. As always, enlisting the help of an experienced professional will help you navigate through that process. And of course, partnering with an experienced, knowledgeable professional will help you to navigate through that process with more confidence. If you have a home that you're responsible for in the San Diego County area, please feel comfortable reaching out to me and my team. We're here to help. Thanks for watching. See you next week.